Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, and we have a ton of things to talk about. Now, I am going to let you guys in on the fact that I am going to be uploading another video later on today. We're actually going to be addressing what the Fed did earlier yesterday. We're going to be talking about a few things with that, but in this video, I do want to strictly talk about what just recently happened with the SEC yesterday. Mainly, going all the way back to the beginning of March, we talked about this. This was a video that came up, and I did report on it. We were talking about it, addressing it, and basically, we do see here Bankless podcast hosts leak inside information that most DeFi founders have been sent an SEC Wells notice this past week, including Lido DAO. Now, I want you guys to understand that we've been focused on this for a while. At first, it was just noise, right? It's speculation. But then we start to see things pile in. Listen closely to this video, though.
In the news, Ryan, is just because of the connections I have in this space. And like I was mentioning at the Bankless meetup yesterday, I have wind that many, Wells notices have been issued to many of the DeFi apps orgs that we all know and love. Wells notices got shot out across the industry
in 2022, or just
no,
even
in
more
the
recent?
last week. We have
Really?
it has not come to light yet because no specific team wants to like, oh yeah, we got a Wells notice.
Yeah.
But it's been going through the lawyer circles that Wells notices have been distributed everywhere. I mean, I haven't gotten the specific details, and it's hard to corroborate these things. I think Lido got one, but I think like Lido's not.
These are still rumors. We should specify.
These are still rumors in the news.
So yeah, it was just rumors at that time, and now more than ever, we have proof that this has actually been going on. One, Sushi Swap. This was a big one. This was a decentralized exchange that got served a subpoena by the SEC, and then from here, we also seen the big one, which was Coinbase. So Coinbase basically got served a Wells notice focusing on staking and asset listings, which again, going back to the initial statement here, this was DeFi. This is like the heart and soul of crypto. This was the original idea around crypto. Like a lot of people write off DeFi. But decentralized finance, being your own bank, banking, yourself, that's the true heart and soul of crypto, essentially. I mean, getting away from the traditional world and the risk associated with the traditional world. A lot of people think that like crypto is like some sort of escape mechanism for criminals online, which that's what most regulators and big names out there around the elite system will tell you. But ultimately speaking, DeFi and crypto itself is a great way to escape the traditional risk with banks. This is also why I say, we need to keep DeFi safe. We need to make sure that DeFi is not destroyed, which it looks like they are targeting it. Which this announcement from I should say Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, this is proven that they are going after DeFi itself. This is staking. Now, yes, asset listings were definitely focused on as well, but we do see you delist the XRP for nothing made no difference to the outcome of the SEC's action against Coinbase. And yeah, you could argue that it has, but we do see over here today, Coinbase received a Wells notice from the SEC focused on staking and asset listings. A Wells notice typically precedes an enforcement action. 2 years ago, the SEC reviewed our business in detail and approved Coinbase to go public. Our S1 clearly explained our asset listing process and included 57 references to staking. Coinbase runs on a rigorous asset review process and has rejected more than 90% of assets that have applied to be listed on the platform. While we understand that this is all part of the journey to reforming our financial system, we are right on the law, confident in the facts, and welcome the opportunity for Coinbase and by extension the broader crypto community to get before a court. We are proud to stand up for our customers and the industry in these moments. Going forward on the legal process, will provide an open and public forum before an unbiased body where we will be able to make clear for all to see that the SEC simply has not been fair, reasonable, or even demonstrated a seriousness of purpose when it comes to its engagement on digital assets. In the meantime, Coinbase will continue to do what we do best, build the most trusted products and services in order to advance our purpose of updating the financial system and creating more economic freedom in the world. We're excited to work with all governments and regulators around the world who are focused on putting in place clear rules to regulate the crypto industry. And I actually think that this is bullish. I do think that there's a war brewing on the forefront of crypto, but ultimately speaking, I think that this is very bullish because Coinbase has a very, very large and strong, legal team behind it. Some of the best lawyers that you could possibly think of. Some of them even SEC chairmen. Or former, I should say, SEC chairman. So when we take a look at this, I think that this is actually very bullish. And honestly, yes, I think that the courts are basically our last hope here. We actually do see Jeremy Hogan talking about this. The SEC is not an independent agency making rules based on the law, but a political enforcement arm of the administration and its views. Only the courts can save us now, and I do completely agree. But yeah, look at this nonsense that we've seen around this entire case. Like these are the facts, right? These are the full blown facts here. This is from Latoshi. But we do see it is difficult to overstate how remarkable it is that this is the response of a public company to a Wells notice. And here we have a few things. The SEC will not let crypto companies come in and register. We tried. The Wells notice comes out of the investigation that we disclosed last summer. Shortly after the investigation began, the SEC asked us if we would be interested in discussing a potential resolution that would include registering some portion of our business with the SEC. We said absolutely yes. Specifically, the SEC asked us to provide our views on what a registration path for Coinbase would look like because there is no existing way for a crypto exchange to register. We developed and proposed 2 different registration models. We spent millions of dollars on legal support to build these proposals and repeatedly asked for the SEC's feedback. We got none. We also reiterated that we stand by our listings process. We don't list securities today, and repeatedly invited the SEC to raise any questions about any asset at all on our platform. They raised none. We met with the SEC more than 30 times over 9 months, but we were doing all of the talking. In December of 2022, we asked the SEC again for some feedback on our proposals. The SEC staff agreed to provide feedback in January of 2023. In January, the day before our scheduled meeting, the SEC canceled on us and told us they would be shifting back to an enforcement investigation. We now understand that there is a disagreement within the commission itself on how to proceed with a registration path. This was just 2 months ago. The investigation is still at a very early stage. We have produced documents and provided 2 witnesses for testimony, one on the basic aspects of our staking services and one on the basic operation of our trading platform. At no point in this investigation has the SEC told us a single specific concern about a single asset on our platform. To move to a Wells notice now is unusual to say the least, especially because our staking and exchange services are largely unchanged since 2021 when the SEC reviewed our S1 and allowed us to become a public company. Our core business model remains the same. And this is exactly why I said this on Twitter. I said, do people really or finally realize just how important the XRP SEC case is now? In the last couple months alone, the SEC has gone on a warpath against crypto. This is only the beginning. Now they are targeting large exchanges like Coinbase who thought they were safe. This comes one day after decentralized exchange SushiSwap was targeted. No project, no coin, no exchange, nothing is safe in this market except Bitcoin. Do you ever wonder why? It's because Bitcoin doesn't threaten the traditional system. And yes, I've said this many times in the past. Bitcoin needs to rely on layer 2 networks in order for it to actually be comparable to the traditional system. And guess who can control those layer 2 networks? Oh yeah, that's right. The elites and the suits and Wall Street, etc. Bitcoin doesn't really threaten the financial system. And we do see everyone laughed when XRP got targeted, but today, more than ever, you could see the true intent of the SEC. Protect the banks, take all power away from crypto exchanges, and only have Wall Street custody crypto so they can continue getting rich. Take a step back and just think about what is happening in this space. There is a war raging on, and it's not a war of healthy regulations. It's a war against a new asset class that will usurp power from the game of monopoly the bankers are playing. Now is the time to realize the motive behind government agencies, elites, bankers, etc., all coming together to trash crypto. They don't want this market to succeed. It's about control, greed, and corruption. And I want you guys to understand that this is exactly why I do talk about XRP. Because although most people want to just focus on price targets and things like that around XRP, but we need to focus on the much bigger picture here. It's the lawsuit. Listen, when we originally heard the news break around the lawsuit with the SEC going against XRP, that's when everything changed around this entire space. That's when the overall war in terms of regulations against crypto, that's when the war started, right? And it's not proper regulations. Listen, just like we are seeing over here described, this is exactly the problem with the XRP lawsuit as well. Ripple met with the SEC on multiple occasions, explained to them the scenario, the situation, everything that they've been doing. Again, the SEC said nothing, absolutely nothing. We had the ICO, discussions with the Hinman speech. Again, everyone followed that to a T. All of a sudden, the SEC walked it back. Like, what is going on here, right? Like, the SEC as an agency needs to completely be abolished. I know that I speak for myself, and I'm sure that I also can speak for a lot of taxpayers in the U.S. that I don't want my taxpayer money to go to the SEC. I don't want to fund this absolute nonsense. We know that the SEC is not trying to regulate crypto. They're trying to tear it down. And I wouldn't even say that they're trying to kill crypto. It's more along the lines of what I said in this entire tweet, which is they want to take control of this entire market and give it to their banker buddies, their suits that want to get rich off of us like they do in the traditional monopoly system. This is a big problem. And we do see over here as well, if you want to get money from your personal checking account to Kraken, the answer is nope. It's from Moon Lambo. And we do see from Jason A. Williams, and so it continues. Kraken ACH funding update. Hi, Jason. We'd like to inform you that as of March 27th, 2023, Kraken will be unable to support ACH deposits and withdrawals. Our team is working to make ACH funding available again as soon as possible. Beginning March 27th, you'll no longer see a deposit option via Blade or withdrawal option via ACH Silvergate. No other services will be affected by this change, including ACH instant purchases via online banking. And we do see ACH instant payments might include debit cards or debit card transactions. I'd have to hop on their platform to verify, but even if so, that's adding friction and that's way more expensive. And yes, this is the biggest problem that I do see around the traditional world of banking and finance. A lot of people have mentioned to me like, okay, well, we don't really need the banks. The problem is that the banks are on and off ramps, right? So they provide liquidity essentially. They, allow individuals to come into the space and buy. Now, yes, there's other ways of buying crypto. Listen, outside of exchanges, you could also go to over-the-counter, OTC desk. These are like the big ones that a lot of people have also utilized in the past. Me personally, I don't have any experience utilizing them. I never really utilized them just because exchanges were just the easiest option for me. But I do know everyone has their own personal preference whenever it is in terms of like buying crypto and even selling crypto. But the thing is that exchanges for most individuals, for the most regular individuals out there, I don't want to say like newbies or anything like that, but individuals that are not experienced with buying and selling crypto, like most of them are going to go to these big exchanges like Kraken, Coinbase, Binance, etc. So if they cut off the source to those exchanges, where's the money going to come from? And that's exactly what they're doing here. They're weaponizing banks, and they're weaponizing the banks to hey, let's limit customers from buying crypto. Just recently, I don't know if I liked the tweet or not. So it was actually this one. So we do see here lots of people reaching out to me, letting me know that their banks are suddenly limiting their Bitcoin purchases. The exits are closing. And here we have, it's not just in the US as well. Royal Bank of Scotland last week. Again, limitations on almost all of these deposits. This is ridiculous to say the least. Like, this is happening. And this is a big problem, right? I think that this is a huge issue. And again, what better way to cut off the retail sector from buying crypto than to limit their purchases to an extent, right? It could be $500 a day, $1,000 a day. We don't know. But at some point in time, like, it brings up the question on like, okay, are they going to just cut it off immediately? Like altogether? Because it could very well be the possibility. But this was not the only big update from the SEC that we did see today as well. We also did see Tron founder Justin Sun get sued by the SEC, citing fraud and market manipulation. I mean, honestly, again, there has been a lot of proof around a lot of things with Tron. There's been a lot of suspicious things. I'm not going to say that he is 100% guilty or not, but that's not my area of focus anyways. I'm just saying, like, the SEC is literally on a warpath right now, and it kind of questions on, are they just doing this because they see themselves losing the Ripple case, so they want to get, more wins along the way to fund their operations to go after Ripple continuously? Or what's going on here? Are they just trying to make headlines to scare people? Are they trying to, scare retail out of this market? Stay away from crypto. Look at how many people are getting sued for fraud and market manipulation. Look at, these exchanges getting, targeted for securities exchanges. Like, are they just trying to make headlines? Are they just trying to make this scary narrative around crypto? It's questionable, right? Anything is possible. But I just want to really focus on one thing, and that's the fact that we 100% need this case against Ripple to be fully finished, because this is going to put things into perspective on where we are headed fully going forward on in time. The SEC, we really have a big problem here. We need to either, one, go to court, because the courts can definitely save us. Outside of what the SEC is doing, we know that they're playing this enforcement role. They're trying to enforce crypto laws that it's an absolute joke right now, right? Like, we know that the SEC is not trying to protect retail customers. They're trying to protect the big banks. They're trying to protect bankers and, give power back to the bankers. It's a big issue that I see. There's not a fair game here at all to be played. We see, the SEC saying, come in and register. All of these companies that got sued have tried endlessly. Library, Ripple, Coinbase. There's been so many other exchanges as well. It really is sickening. And I just want to leave this video off with this video here. It's a short video. It's 1 minute and 46 seconds. It's with Johnny Deaton as well as Eleanor Tourette. Listen closely to this video.
Very confident, and I've said it on record, I'll say it again. I believe the SEC will lose. Remember, Charlie and I even have that bet. I believe the SEC will lose its summary judgment motion as it's written. That doesn't mean the judge can't split the baby, and it depends on how aggressive she is on wanting to get into the evidence. But the SEC lost their expert for trying to show that XRP holders would have relied on the efforts of Ripple and that they were induced by Ripple. And there's no expert to say that there's no non-investment use of XRP. And then, of course, you have XRP holders brief, you have Spin the Bits brief, and all the other amicus brief, and you've got 3,500 affidavits from XRP holders saying why we used and purchased XRP. And some of them say for investment, like many people did, and many of them talk about for the particular use and moving money and being paid and all those other things. And so there is an area where the judge could say whether or not XRP was purchased for non-investment reasons is an issue of fact for the jury to decide. She could say, as a matter of law, the SEC has not that no reasonable jury could conclude there's a common enterprise and fine for Ripple. Or she could say whether or not there's a common enterprise is an issue for a jury. So it really depends. I'm confident that they're going to lose. And I believe that Ripple has the better chance of an outright win than the SEC does.
And this is exactly what we need. We need a major win. And we need a win on the crypto front, because right now, as we continuously see the fight against crypto from the regulators, I do question on where things are going to be headed. Because if we have all the power in the hands of, these elites, these big bankers, etc., like, they will do everything in their power to fight back against crypto. And I'm very concerned on what the future looks like if we continuously give power to people like the SEC, for an example. This agency is absolutely ridiculous. I hate that taxpayer money goes and funds this because we all see it. I mean, it's so frustrating. I mean, I'm sorry for venting about this, but like, ultimately speaking, I'm extremely frustrated with the last 2 years on how things have gone. I just want this SEC case behind us, and I want the SEC to 100% be investigated for fraud as well as corruption, because we need to see those Hinman documents 100%, and we need these individuals that are in office, that are in these power positions, to be completely disbanded. With that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Because definitely leave a like, subscribe to the notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.